Okay, the Game Awards just happened. So, game trailers looked great. There were so many things that I think like excited so many different people. I ended up getting wrapped up in 2 major announcements, and I'll get into that. The Game Awards themselves, I don't know. We're gonna have to talk about this. First, the game trailers, the things that, like, you know, you probably wake up, you want to know, okay, what did they announce? I didn't really want to watch all 4 hours of this show. So first of all, there is a new Elden Ring announcement. Is this from Software? It looks a little bit like the engine. Gonna disappoint me in seconds. Stop! Holy shit! It's not DLC somehow. It's like it's its own game, I guess. Night Rain, I believe, is what it's called. I'm just gonna have to fix that in post if I'm wrong. But like, again, this one I was super excited about. I couldn't believe we got something from Software related at the Game Awards. Wow. I mean, we just got the DLC for Shadow of the Erdtree this year, which it took a lot of time to come out. So to have another announcement is kind of insane. The other big one that I think a lot of people are not going to care about, but I lost my mind. Roll that clip. Eco? Whoa! Holy shit, dude! What the? If you couldn't tell from the overjoyed excitement, that's a spiritual successor to the Team Eco lineage. So Team Eco's Eco game, then there's Shadow of the Colossus, then there's The Last Guardian. These are the 3 games that the team essentially worked on. I think Last Guardian was like picked up by another team, but it was like brought to their vision, I guess. So we got all 3 games in the end, but then everything shut down, and I pretty much just was surrendering to the fact that we were never going to see a game like this ever again, very sadly. But no, apparently we're getting another game in the style of the Team Eco vision. So all I'll say about this, if you've never played those games before, is that they're not the gamers games, they're experiences. So they're made by people who aren't even necessarily gamers. Their whole idea is to create feelings within the player, and not to throw the word a second time, but just a new experience for the player that you don't really see elsewhere. So keep your eye on this one, and if you haven't, play Shadow of the Colossus or Last Guardian or even Eco. I think in that order is probably the best order for you to give them a try. Then Capcom came out with big swings. They came out with a new Onimusha game. I have a friend of mine who's been talking forever about wanting a new Onimusha game. So he is, I don't know, like catatonic at this point in time with excitement. I imagine it's going to take a while for him to be able to concentrate on anything, because he is like the Onimusha fan. So I'm super happy for my friend Jimmy. Jimmy, if you're watching, congratulations. The other game, of course, it's Okami 2, which I couldn't believe is happening. Okami is a game that is supposed to be somewhat like of a traditional 3D Zelda-like, not Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. It was supposed to be like a game where you explore a closed-in open world map, and you get abilities, you have combat, stuff like that, you solve puzzles. That's Okami at the end of the day. And it's all done with this cool watercolor sort of art style that was like, you know, that's indicative of old Japanese art, basically. And it never sold great, though I guess it was building up some sort of fan base over time. Like we got like residual sales from the re-releases and stuff that Capcom was happy with. I guess they were happy enough, because at this point now we have a sequel coming out that's also bringing back in an ex-Capcom developer. That's the thing that's the craziest thing of all. It's Hideki Kamiya. So he actually was the director of Resident Evil 2, he was the director of Beautiful Joe, and he was the director of the original Okami. So the fact that he's brought back in after he had left the company prior, it's kind of a big deal. Like, this is supposed to make it a super legitimate sequel to Okami. So I'm very happy for him, very happy for Okami fans, and yeah, this is going to be amazing. Another thing that I guess like people are really excited for is The Witcher 4. It looks like a side character from previous games named Ciri is going to be the lead character this time. At least that's what's implied at the moment. So it's an interesting one. I'm not a Witcher fan, so I have little to say about it. And there was other announcements, of course, too, but the last one I'll mention is that there's a new Naughty Dog announcement. This one's a sci-fi game that looks like it involves possibly a bounty hunter. I couldn't quite catch all the dialogue that was in the trailer, but you have a woman protagonist with a shaved head who is visiting planets and stuff. Does it look appealing to me? I'm not a sci-fi guy. Naughty Dog hasn't really done anything to particularly excite me. Sorry, I'm not the super fan of their games in particular. I've played them. I played all the Uncharted games except for 4. I did play through a lot of The Last of Us Part 1, but it's all show, no gameplay for me. I think people disagree with that too, but like for me, I just wasn't really excited by the gameplay of recent Naughty Dog games. So this one actually looks like the gameplay could be a lot better. It looks like she wields some sort of sci-fi sword and she can like jump off of environments and stuff like that, assuming that that's something you can do in game. That is probably the most gameplay looking Naughty Dog game I've seen in a long time. So maybe it'll reel me back in. We'll just have to see more as it comes out. So anyways, the awards. Astrobot won Game of the Year. That's kind of strange. Kind of amazing, too, at the same time. The Game Awards can be a little bit of a tricky finger with some things. Like, for example, It Takes Two managed to win Game of the Year one time, which, like, that's insane. I can't believe that people came together to decide that, like, I would call it a AA game that just focuses on co-op. Like, that somehow managed to win Game of the Year. A little strange. But, like, Astrobot won this year, and Astrobot being just a fun, colorful 3D platformer, which is not unlike some Nintendo experiences that we would get, but also those ones never win Game of the Year, so that's also why it's kind of a little strange. Like, okay, if Astrobot can win Game of the Year, why not Mario Galaxy 1, you know? Like, that game was incredible, but that's okay. Like, look, I think it's really cool that a game like Astrobot has the potential to win Game of the Year. The only thing that I have trouble with is that I mentioned in a previous video, I'm going to mention it here. Silent Hill 2, frankly, was way too good to be snubbed the way it did at this award show. It didn't win any categories. It wasn't nominated for Game of the Year. I'm going to just say it out loud. There seemed to have been a pretty clear Konami bias at this show. It's not a secret that Hideo Kojima and Jeff Keighley are really good friends, and that they publicly have stated in the past about how they did not like Konami's way of treating Hideo Kojima. And yeah, I mean, like, there's just been a pretty clear indication that Jeff Keighley still sides with Kojima to this day, and that he doesn't seem to be forgiving of Konami moving forward. At least he's never publicly stated anything like that. So that being said, it kind of throws into the question of the ethics of if Konami makes a really good game, shouldn't their game be worthy of awards? Shouldn't they be winning awards? Shouldn't there not be a bias about how they treated Kojima in the past that would affect their ability to win said awards? But look, everything's subjective. I get that. But Silent Hill 2, the original, is one of the greatest games of all time. And in my opinion, Silent Hill 2 Remake is one of the greatest remakes of all time, because it takes the original game and it makes it vastly superior in my mind. Like, I will always just go to the remake from now on and not even bother with the original. It just takes everything that's great and then makes it better, and takes everything that was bad and makes it good or great. So that being said, like, it has one of the greatest stories, it has a great soundtrack, it had great acting in this one. The actor for James was incredible, and even he, though nominated, did not win Best Actor. Again, they took no awards home, which, frankly, again, if I'm like looking at this from an unbiased lens, because I'm not like a Silent Hill super fan, even I can admit, like, that game was just way too good to take home nothing. And there's definitely categories that they were allowed to participate in that they definitely should have won. Like, it should have been like a home run. And no, they simply didn't win. I guess, like, that's like the most controversial thing that I kind of want to just throw in here real quick. The other thing in general is that, like, I get it. Like, I'm not going to be able to predict who's going to win every category every single year. But I'll just say this, that, like, yeah, I don't think I predicted any of the winners this year. I think, like, all the winners were games or actors or people that I just didn't think was gonna win, and then they won. But like the previous years, I was much better at predicting who's gonna win what, or at least pray and hope that they would win that category, and then they did. You know, like with Elden Ring getting Game of the Year, I'm so happy for them for that. But Yeah, this year couldn't guess a single one. It's all right, but I just wanted to throw that out there because, you know, if you guys are curious, like, what's your boy here? Hopefully you're not brand new and you're like, who is this guy who thinks that I care if he was able to guess any of the nominees? Well, hey, what's going on, new guy? Thanks for watching the video. I appreciate you. Well, anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. If something interesting happens in the news or something I really want to talk about, you'll see me here, though you might see a slowdown in uploads simply because I couldn't afford to have an editor anymore, and I do need to focus on the main channel a bit more so that I can get those videos out a lot faster. The main channel being Boundary Break, with the channel name just being She Says. This one's She Says the News that you're watching. But of course, please subscribe. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, and take care.